Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday, the 9th of June, 2020. This week 10, and we're taking on this very exciting course. ACE 814 for our master students and ACE 914 for our doctoral students, principles and practice of entrepreneurship. We have just listened to the erudition from Professor Adebambo Adewokpo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. And now we're going to get into the groove with Professor Abiodun Denloye. So as you can see from our program, he's going to take us on entrepreneurial opportunities in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So let's welcome him. Who is our second facilitator? Who is Professor Abiodun Denloye? Abiodun A. Denloye has a PhD as a zoologist, specialized in applied entomology and environmental toxicology, with bias for biosafety, biosecurity, or biorisk management. Hey, good. He worked as farm supervisor in an expansive farm overseeing the care of poultry, piggery, and mixed crop farm, and later practiced as a journalist, as an associate editor with the defunct Concord Group, covering science, health, and environment issues before he joined the academia on full time. He has collaborated with academics across various departments in LASU, including fisheries, chemistry, maths, and botany, and other universities, as well as researchers at various research institutes. He's president of the Nigerian Biological Safety Association. That's a great office. He's a fellow of the Entomological Society of Nigeria, a fellow of the Society for Educational Administration of Nigeria. What Professor Denloye did not include in his bio, which he sent to me, is that we had, I think we still have it, the Center for Entrepreneurial Studies with a governing board. I used to chair that governing board, and he was a foundation director of that Center for Entrepreneurial Studies in LASU. He did so wonderfully well, and we're very proud of him. So it's now my pleasure to invite Professor Abiodun Denloye to give us a lecture on opportunities for entrepreneurship in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Over to you, Professor Denloye.
Thank you very much, distinguished Professor Okebukola. It is indeed a very great opportunity for me to be here today. I draw a lot of inspiration, a lot of encouragement, and a lot of push from your leadership, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Right from my student days. At the governing board of the Center for Entrepreneurial Studies, I must say that you did wonderfully well a job of tutelage of me personally and the entire center.
Thank you.
It is therefore a great opportunity for me to be here once again to begin to give this talk. I will begin sharing.
Yes.
I want to say that the immediate past speaker in the person of Professor Adebambo Adewokpo, SAN, has actually done a great job and in laying the foundation for what entrepreneurship is about, although linking it with intellectual property. I will go from there, and also therefore I can save some of our time based on that. Now, it is critical for us to note that I have the badge of the IFBA as a global certified professional in biosafety and biorisk management, which also has a lot of entrepreneurial content.
Correct.
In it. So I will go further from there Okay, I'm sorry. To just lead us through the outline of this presentation, I intend to take us through STEM education and entrepreneurship as an introduction, and then go through conceptual model of entrepreneurship, characteristics of the entrepreneur, through to opportunities in STEM with respect to entrepreneurship, as well as after the initial COVID-19 response, both in Nigeria and globally, and then the skills that are required to tap the opportunities available therefrom. I will like to be a little bit fast so that we can gain more time and be able to grasp what we are here for. I think the concept of STEM education is what many of you should know more than me. From my profile, you have observed that I am basically a scientist, although I was trained as a journalist, but I have gone through entrepreneurship instincts that I have in me and developed them, but with little in professional educational practice. Pardon me for saying that, even though I've been a lecturer in the university for more than 2 decades. But we can just mention here and now that there are 4 fields of STEM, like the distinguished Professor Kebukola had mentioned. We have in science, we have in technology, engineering, and mathematics. We need to actually put this as a pedestal to build this lecture. First, we need to take note that the science field of STEM involves the systematic study of the nature and behavior of the material and the physical universe based on observation, experiment, measurement, and formulation of laws to describe these facts. And of course, these laws, these facts, and all their processes includes all of physical, biological, agricultural, life sciences, and others, and so on. That is the field that I belong to. The next is about technology. That is the branch of the knowledge that deals with the creation and use of technical means and their interrelation with life, society, and the environment. Truth is, if they do not interrelate with life, society, and the environment, then what is the technology meant for? Technology is expected to make life easier, workable, more workable, and more livable for us as humans. And then the third field is the field of engineering. And this involves making practical application of the knowledge of pure sciences for construction of engines, bridges, buildings, mines, ships, and chemical plants. All of these, you will agree with me, are extremely important for life to be more meaningful than if engineering does not exist. And I like the last aspect of it, mathematics. Some say mathematics is not a science. I ask, so exactly where does it belong? It's a group of related sciences. I pitch my tent with that, of course, because I'm a scientist. It's including algebra, geometry, and calculus that is concerned with the study of numbers, quantities, shapes, and space, and their interrelationship by using specialized notations. In my practice within the academia, I have found out, for instance, that mathematics go beyond the shape, goes beyond the quantity and the numbers. It goes far to the extent of the interplay of all of this together. As a consultant to the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, I've had to carry out measurements on the runway and on the tarmac of the airport, drawing different shapes where birds can be found and in very close proximity, with resting airplanes, landing airplanes, or airplanes that are taking off. So that means that these numbers and figures and shapes are not just numbers, figures, and shapes. They are very, very important for life. Because if anything happens and those birds enter the airplane might crash. So that they will not even, that will not be happening. That's why I was appointed as a consultant. So we can go further from there. Now we find out that in Nigeria, as much as in many parts of the world, we have the problem of unemployment to grapple with. The case for Nigeria is what I have on this chart. Up to 2017, it is recorded that an estimate shows we have more than 14.2 million unemployed people in Nigeria. 14.2 million. Now, as many of us are the world-class best PhD and MSc students, I'm coaching the world of distinguished Professor Okebukola. I believe in them, in those words, so well, so much. It is possible that some are in this program to use it as a stepping stone for other things. In my days in school, at the MSc and postgraduate levels, we had quite a number of us who are coming to school because there was nothing to do and didn't want to remain jobless. Let them therefore be gainfully employed in quotes, coming to school for postgraduate and for masters and PhD work. So you see, the problem of unemployment therefore is so serious. But you see, in the historical perspective, STEM education has one of those gains in developing it as a way of producing practical-oriented students, oriented graduates who have hands-on stuff to do using all these four fields, either singularly or an interplay of a combination of them, or all of them as the case may be. So what that therefore leads us to is that STEM education can help us in tackling unemployment. If not for those of us who are running this program, but for our students back in our institutions in various countries of Africa, from where we have enlisted for this program, I believe it's going to tell a lot. Now, we can get to entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is expected to actually harness all these four fields. What is entrepreneurship? At the risk of rehashing what Professor Adewoko, SAN, had gone through, I will just paraphrase it in my definition here. That it refers to the process of creating a new enterprise. He also said that. And bearing any of its risk with the view of making profit. In other words, entrepreneurship has its ultimate goal to make profit. It means, therefore, that it is about making profit from resources. And those resources could be human, could be material resources. Now, I have a conceptual model of entrepreneurship here, which shows the person that is involved as an entrepreneur, the task that he undertakes, the environment where he carries out the task, as well as how everything is organized in an organization. That is simply put what entrepreneurship is about. Entrepreneurship involves seeking investment and production opportunity, developing and managing a business venture so as to undertake production function, leveraging inputs including land, labor, material, and capital. We can take it from there. This figure, this diagram actually further illustrates the entrepreneurial process. It shows how the articulation of the vision until where it gets to, on the far right, the institutionalization of standard operating processes or procedures in the entrepreneurial process. It identifies three major sections of it: in opportunity conception, managing conceptualization of opportunity, institutionalizing the venture. So it's about renewal and regeneration of intrapreneuring. I will just quickly take a few seconds on intrapreneuring so that we do not confuse it totally with entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurial is all about a situation where you have a manager employed in a company and he also promotes new ideas and is involved in marketing such ideas. Let's go further. So, who is the entrepreneur? What are his characteristics? I want to counsel that for us, we need to teach this to our students back home, but you cannot give what you don't have. It is important, therefore, that for us in this program, in this course, we first take up these attributes, and then we will be able to give them as what we have. As an entrepreneur, you are the person, and so you, one, must be economically active. Must be economically active. The man in suit, he is so active that he's even carrying the dollar on his head. The dollar is carried, is even bigger than he himself altogether. That is what an entrepreneur is about. He must be engaged in activities that will yield in economic dimensions, that will yield money, and then he will champion the process. The second thing is that he must be creative. He must be creative and innovative. This is one of those highlights of Professor Adewopo SAN presentation was about. To the left, the blue figure shows that it involves a lot of brain work. It involves a lot of researching of minds and researching of production facilities in order to produce light. From thinking energy to light energy. If you like, we can put it that way. Yes, oriented in its economic activity. And then the fourth one is that it must not just be a risk taker. He is not someone who just takes it and drops it. He must be a risk bearer. How far he wants to carry it is the measure of how good the risk he is taking. He must be willing to bear the risk of his activities. It's a common saying that where your money is, that is where your mouth is, or that's where your heart is. So you must therefore bear it in mind that for as much as is risking in terms of naira and dollar, or pound sterling or euro, that is how much he is risking to lose. And so he doesn't want to lose his money, he's got to take the good risk. So entrepreneurial opportunities are found, but they do not come from the blues. There must be situations that will serve as precursors for the opportunities to come. We can look at some of these. Let's look at in the book by Olumide Emmanuel, published in 2012, The School of Money. He listed more than 120 different vocations that can be turned to opportunities. At the end of, I have the book cited for those who are interested in it. I have listed 10 different vocational opportunities here, which the 10 person can also tap from. I listed woodwork, engineering, woodwork, agricultural value chain. Of course, this comprises a lot of activities or enterprises, including fishery and aquaculture. It should interest you that LASU has one of the best fisheries and aquaculture department with the fish farm, producing every time and selling to the university community for consumption. So it also includes nailery, figuring, poultry, and then we have those that have to do with photography. And we can go on and on and on as we have listed them up to 10 in this slide. I have carefully selected the graphics that we have to aid our understanding of it. The young man back in the camera is sitting behind computer and IT systems where he is thinking solutions. That is one of those things that we have from STEM education. I have for woodwork another image there. And then from agricultural production, crop production in particular, I have the man that is working in an hydroponics farm. That is the system where we have plants growing in water that has been enriched with nutrients instead of soil. Of course, this is an advanced move on the traditional agriculture where we have to go and plant vegetable like we see at Yanova each time we pass through. I have also a photograph on photography. The young man there happens to be my friend and former classmate in secondary school, Mr. Dayo Adidayo. Photography has taken him around the world, having served as the chief photographer of Ovation magazine, which was started by the entrepreneur Dele Momodu. Incidentally, Dele Momodu and I were at Concord Press when I went through my sojourn in journalism, he himself being a journalist at that time. But the more important thing at this point in time is that this young man has changed the face of photography. It is not only come to my studio and take photographs, or you are having a ceremony and carry my camera there. What he has done is to take photography to points of putting the historical points in Nigeria and many places in the world on photographs. And so I go to the logistics. Now, this is very, very important at this time. Logistics and welfare hold sway in this COVID-19 days. But before this time also, it has been taking a lot of ground. Distinguished professors, ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the vocations that can be turned to opportunities.
Sure.
Right. What do we have in the post-COVID-19 response? Entrepreneurial opportunities instead. Now, of course, as vain as we are, permit me to use the word vain for the purpose of this presentation. I do not know how many of us are behind the computers that are also fashionistas, like we see the first two ladies that in this on this slide. They are dressing to match, even in response to COVID-19, wearing the mask that actually matches the dress.
Yeah.
But the third lady in blue is putting on a surgical mask. Now, this is very important for this time of COVID-19. After we had the Eid Fitri, the festival after Ramadan, many Muslims are looking forward to what we are used to calling Big Salah. Now, at that time, in the part of the country where I grew up in Ijebu, it's usually a time for fanfare during the Ojujoba festival. Just like we have many other festivals across Africa. But in that festival, it is a time for show of fabric, show of color, show of style, show of dress sense. Now, the business is threatened seriously by COVID because that kind of gathering may not take place, most certainly, in the spirit of social and physical distance, which COVID-19 response mandates. What therefore do we have? We will have investments more in the area of food and agricultural products. It is advisable that we beam our entrepreneurial searchlight in such areas. We will have textile products that are convertible to easy-to-wear masks. Most of the homemade masks that are done here, trust me, that is my extant area of specialization in biosafety and biosecurity. Most of the masks are made of materials that are very cumbersome to put on,
sure,
and therefore to maintain on the nose and covering the mouth, because they are heavy, because they are thick, and therefore there's a possibility of not maintaining them well. Consequently, there's a risk of having more COVID-19 cases, even when we are using such masks. What the country needs now, what we need globally, are personal protective equipment as simple as face masks, but that are easy to wear and can be easily maintained or safely disposed of immediately after use each day. And that is the sense in what we have in the third lady to the extreme right of the slide. The lady has even gone an extra way, which is advisable for our women as well as men. COVID-19 days are not days to leave the head bare. They must be covered because the virus can actually lodge on surfaces such as here, and you can easily take them in. Many of the women who also put on wig also run higher rates of harboring more of the COVID-19, the virus. Now, we can go further on logistics and welfare products and services. Logistics have become gold mine. Pre-COVID-19, social and physical distancing entail that if you don't have to go, then it means that whatever you need to get done, you have to travel. Logistic companies will be on hand. And therefore, there are a lot of gaps that need to be filled in logistics and welfare products and services. Of course, we cannot understate the importance of computers and smartphones, both hardware and software, in terms of user-friendly apps. Many apps are being generated now, even to the extent of having apps that aid blood delivery. Blood delivery from transfusion in different places. These are some of those things that are challenging.
6 minutes more. 6 minutes more.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay.
I'm almost done.
Yeah.
And then, most Importantly, among all of these top five are medical products, medical supplies, and pharmaceuticals. Yes, you may tell me you are planning for a PhD in STEM education. Yes, it's very true. But don't forget that one of those things that is the core character of the entrepreneur is that he looks for how they can whip around things. And then it means you can actually partner with some other persons who have the certificate or are licensed to practice. Yours is to invest your money. Medical services, medical products, supplies. And I think that is just a very simple way for you to know where the opportunities lie. Look at where, in the period of the COVID-19 lockdown day, which sectors of the activities were given exemption to move around. Those that have to do with agricultural products, those that have to do with logistics, those that have to do with medicals and supplies, those that have to do with food. Those are the hotspots for entrepreneurial opportunity, even as a third person. This slide brings us to the Z of this presentation. You might not have noticed when we went past the A. In this Z of this presentation, it's about the skills that are required to tap the opportunity. I have on the left side of this slide, Lionel Messi. Next to him is Cristiano Ronaldo, and then the last one is Pele, the king himself. The three of them at different times are referred to for different purposes as greatest of all time. They call them GOATs, greatest of all time. But there's one thing that is common about all of them that makes them distinguish themselves in soccer. And that is the skill they developed over time. As entrepreneurial STEM experts, you will need the skills for entrepreneurial opportunity for you to be able to tap them. One of such skills are the technical skills. And this involves oral communication, ability to organize. If you cannot organize, you can only agonize. And that means you're already a loser. Productive ability, technical and business, etc., etc. You will need not to speak to others, you cannot deal with them. The next one is business management skills. If you don't have the business management skills, what are you doing in business? You must be able to forecast, you must be able to plan, you must be able to budget, you must be able to take good decisions based on this. And then you must be able to carry out negotiation, set attainable goals, smart goals, and then you must have good human relations. It is important to have a good financial base. If you don't have, you can go and meet those that you have. Lastly, personal skills are very important in the aspect of ability to manage change. An entrepreneur is a leader in his own right. You must be able to manage your leadership. You must be able to persist in the food that you have found yourself. You must have foresight like the eagle. And then you must be a good risk taker. These and others that I have listed are the personal skills. And this is therefore the set of this presentation. Wonderful. You will notice that that is the format of the letters that I've presented.
Oh, wonderful, 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 Professor Abiodun Denloye. We can't thank you enough for this very rich presentation that has gone from A to Z. You have actually done the A to Z of entrepreneurship within the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics domain. So the floor is now open for us. May I ask Professor Denloye to maybe stop sharing his screen so that, yeah, that's fine. Oh, yeah, yeah, I've seen it. You know, because you said that COVID-19 can be anywhere and it can be in the air. So I've just decided to go and take off my cap, you know. Got to put on my cap now. And I suspect that this person, let's see now, Oladejo and Francis knew that he will that COVID-19 he has to prevent it in all ways. So he decided to don a cap, you know, today. And Oladejo also has done the cap. So all of us putting cap today, we better know that we are taking the necessary precautions. And you can see Professor Samala Mande is also done. Olatunde Wolabi. DCD&D is also having a cap. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And our mama, the DAP, is also having the cap on. So very good. So floor is now open for us. Michael, you have no cap on. Please watch out for COVID-19 viruses hanging around. You better go. You know, it's on the way. Very good. Our mama, Professor Uchenzewi, also has a cap on. So, by the way, just on the side, yeah, let's begin with Joseph. Joseph. Joseph, we still cannot hear you today. Just keep trying. Francis.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, in one of our lectures, we are talking of how to win students to STEM. Now, if a man trains his a child in STEM education, and you know, as we have been taught today, they say one of the implicit reasons for these entrepreneurial opportunities is in case there is no employment, which is very likely to be. Now, if a man trains his child for STEM education and at the end he goes back to farm or doing fishery or this is as a result of not gaining employment with the government as to practice that STEM education or as a STEM teacher. Now, how do you see that? Will it still encourage other people to take to STEM education?
All right, that's very good. Yeah. Any other? Let me just take one more if there is. Any other? There is none. I'd like to remind you of what Professor Abiodun Denloye said, and I was quite enthralled. I was quite delighted by it. That in taking on a business, in starting an enterprise, you need to shine your eyes. That's a Nigerian parlance. Oh, Michael, I can see you have your cap. That's what cap on now. Very good. Very good, wise man. Yeah. To shine your eyes, to find out where the opportunities lie. He has said that if you noticed, when government said lockdown is on, but you are easing in some areas, those areas included food, agriculture. So that means that that's the place to run to set up a business. They also said all the pharmacies and all the pharmacies and all of that, you should open medical business. Like the man who just asked the question now, Francis, has a big hospital. I'm sure, Francis, that during this lockdown period, you had the hospital running and you had many more patients coming. But I'm not talking about COVID-19 patients, though. And you're talking about logistics. You talk about logistics. Logistics would mean I need to buy a kettle or to buy a computer. I can't go to the computer village. I can't go to Alaba. But there are some organizations that have been set up within this period very quickly to do all of that for you, to be the bridge between you and the commodity that you want to buy. So he mentioned these three, and I felt quite happy about that. Logistics and welfare, agriculture, and medical supplies. Maybe that will give a lead-in to what this person, the question that Francis, you asked. I mean, if you can't do agriculture, just shine your eyes to find out those areas that are the hottest in terms of business opportunities. Now, I can see a hand up. I just take him on now. That's our very dear professor of marketing of STEM education, Professor Samaila Mande, to please, just very briefly, because we have just 5 minutes to end the class. Professor Samaila Mande, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, sir, and thank you, Professor Denloye, for that eloquent presentation. By what Mr. Francis said, Dr. Francis said, there is no doubt about it. There are a lot of opportunities, even as a STEM scholar that you are going to be for our students. And based on what the Prof talked about, opportunities. The most important thing is that in any environment you find yourself, try as much as you can to see what are the likely opportunities they're in. Are there gaps? If there are gaps, what are those opportunities that you can now create so that at the end of the day, there will be a kind of support and wealth creation? And that's what is important about. So STEM education that we're now already focusing, and something that is important, I think it's clear that no doubt about it, and it's a bundle of opportunities for every discipline. Thank you. Not limited to only science teachers education.
Exactly.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Now the man who is the biosafety is here with us. We just finished a lecture with my lawyer, and so many people are coming up in this environment. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. That's just wonderful. So let me yield to Professor Abiodun Denloye in a few minutes, just about 3 minutes, to please respond.
I thank you. I think my job is actually already done, thanks to the distinguished Professor Tebokola and Professor Samala Mande for those contributions. Just for me to add for Francis that it is not just about the cause of unemployment. Even when you are employed, it doesn't stop you from having a start.
Exactly.
It doesn't stop you from entrepreneurship.
Sure.
That is on one hand. On the second hand, it is all about opportunities, and you just got to be acute in your ability to detect the opportunities. Just as an illustration, a short illustration. A youth couple got to a village and there was no pipe-borne water. It needed to now get water for the community. And that was how, as a youth couple, he started water supply business. By the time he was leaving the place, he already had to himself a vehicle for himself. He has improved his lot. He was a youth couple at the same time, an entrepreneur in his own right at that time. So all we need to do is to identify the opportunity. The opportunity can come even from waste. I think my professors have already actually covered a lot in that aspect. That's probably nothing more to add. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. Professor Abiodun Denloye, you have done so very well, and we appreciate you. Before we round up this, thank you, sir. Before we round this up, you will recall that when we started this course, we had some exemplary practices from 3 institutions. One from Tai Solarin University of Education. The Vice Chancellor, who is here with us now, told us about the great things that university is doing in terms of entrepreneurship. Our center will give you some kind of award on exemplary practice, and you're going to get at the close of this course, we're going to give you a certificate on exemplary practice in entrepreneurial education and entrepreneurship. We also have the university that Professor Sir P. Thomas Bamanja is Sierra Leone. He told us about the things they are doing in fisheries, in agriculture, agriculture generally, and in fisheries specifically, and other areas, and as a model in Sierra Leone. Professor P. Bamanja, if you are in the room, I saw you just now. Please note that.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, sir. I know,
I'm
sir.
in the room.
Yes, sir. I know, sir. I saw you,
Yes.
sir. I saw you, sir. So we are going to give you some exemplary practice certificate, which we are going to show to everybody in Sierra Leone, that we recognize you here. Of course, I'm going to be speaking with leadership of the center to do that, because we already have, you see, we have to encourage such entrepreneurs. We have to encourage those persons who are doing well. As the people from my part of the world say, that is the child that raises the hand like this, that you say, oh yeah, this child wants to be carried. So we are quite happy about what you are doing. The third is to our university, Lagos State University, the Center for Entrepreneurial Studies, where Professor Martin Aneteka, is doing great work. We have to give that institution. So 3 certificates are coming up. Now we are going to appreciate Professor Abiodun Denloye, and I'm going to call on
State University, Africa Center of Excellence for Innovative and Transformative STEM Education, LASU-ACEITSE, a World Bank project. This is to certify that Professor Abiodun Denloye facilitated courses AC 814 and AC 914 between June 8th to 13th, 2020. This is signed by the distinguished Professor Peter Okebugola OFR, the director of the center. Thank you, sir.
Thank you also very much. At this stage, I'm going to ask all of us to give a warm round of applause to Professor Abiodun Denloye for a job very, very well done. We sincerely appreciate you, Professor Denloye. That brings us to the end of this lecture, and I want to wish you happy rest of the week. Tomorrow, we're going to start our graduate seminar, and I have a few announcements after the lecture will have closed. Once again,